getting a very special day in his honor. John H. Johnson was the founder of the Johnson Publishing Company. The Chicago-based company published Ebony and Jet magazines, becoming fixtures in Black households across the country and the world. And Mr. Johnson became one of the most influential media leaders in the 20th century. While Johnson became famous here in Chicago and around the world, he was born in Arkansas. Next month, John H. Johnson Day will be observed in his hometown of Arkansas City, Arkansas. A centerpiece of the honor will be the unveiling of a sculpture of Mr. Johnson. So joining us on this Feel Good Friday today, John Johnson's daughter, Linda Johnson Rice, and the sculptor, Susan Holley Williams. Welcome to our show, and thank you so much. What an honor. I feel so blessed to be here, to be in your presence.
You.
Publishing royalty sitting right here to my left. You all don't know.
Well, I don't know about all that.
Oh, I do
I'm
know
grateful
all
to be
that.
here.
I do know all that because, Linda, I'll tell you a quick story. In third grade, I'm born and raised in Chicago.
Yeah.
We had a field trip. That was rare. For Chicago Public Schools, we got on a school bus, came down to your father's headquarters on Michigan Avenue. We were walking out of the building. Your father tapped me on the shoulder. I'll never forget it. I was 8 years old, third grade. He said, "Walk with a purpose always."
Oh, that's him.
Boom.
That's him.
And
Absolutely.
I'm starting to get chills because I was like, oh my gosh, I got work to do. Besides multiplication tables.
Right. I was like saying you were only 8. But see, he recognized greatness even then.
I mean, you know, game recognized game, as they say. But talk about the impact and the inspiration and the legacy that your father has left on this world.
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having me. And I am so excited about the John H. Johnson Day in his hometown of Arkansas City, Arkansas, where he was born. It'll be on November 1st. And you know, I think the impact that my father had really in creating Ebony magazine and Jet magazine, also along with my mother, Eunice Johnson, was it really showcased Black people with a sense of pride and a sense of purpose. And they showed that Black people have values and are to be valued. And they made other people respect Black people.
What do you think his legacy is and will be?
I think his legacy is just that, is that it's showing the world that Black people have achieved, can achieve, and will continue to achieve. And that even through struggles, through trials and tribulations, I mean, my father came from a teeny town. He picked cotton. But he had also a strong mother who believed in him, brought him to Chicago, part of the Great Migration, went to DuSable High School here, attended the University of Chicago. I said he's their most famous dropout, and started his business, Johnson Publishing, here along with my mother. And so I think that legacy in and of itself will last in perpetuity.
Yeah, and I love the story of how your father wore overalls and he pretended to be the janitor of the building, and that's how he bought that building
That is
on
correct.
South Michigan Avenue. And I mean, for everybody, that's pressure, Susan. I'm looking at you over there, and you have to create the likeness of an icon, a legend, a trailblazer. How'd you do it, and what were the characteristics that were real important to you?
The characteristics that were really important was not just what looked like John Johnson, but the essence of John Johnson. And for me to get that, I had to learn about John Johnson. So I read his book, Succeeding Against the Odds. So I learned a lot about him then, and I wanted to portray not just an image, not just a sculpture, but this man who I always looked up to. I had the Ebony and Jet magazine. I'm in a small town, and that was an idol for us. So I wanted to portray who he was and what he looked like, what he thought like.
That's
a story. You had a story behind the sculpture that I did. So.
He is a journeyman, and that's a lot of pressure for you. A lot of inspiration, though. I read that in third grade you started helping everybody how to be an artist, and in ninth grade you worked with clay. Fast forward to now, what is the creative process like to build something of this magnitude?
It's a long process, but I'll try to make it short. You start with a maquette, a small 36-inch piece, have it enlarged. Some sculptors do not, they do the whole piece. I had mine enlarged, and after you have it enlarged, it comes in styrofoam, and you have to, basically go back over it and do it all over again. So that caught me by surprise because this was my first large piece. So I had to recreate him twice and find that likeness and find the emotion that I was looking for all over again.
Can I ask how long it took?
About 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah,
That
it's
doesn't
like a mother
sound
birthing
right.
a baby.
Yeah. And you have children, so that's your
Yes.
eighth child.
Yeah, digging in that vat of clay trying to find Mr. Johnson. The whole time I'm thinking, where are you?
Yeah.
So finally I started to see him. When I started seeing his features, I would say, there you are. And until he looked back at me, I wasn't satisfied. So when I saw him look back, I thought, he's here, there he is.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So Susan's making it, but what must he look like? What must the sculpture be to make your family proud and happy?
I think he's got to show strength.
Okay.
Strength, and also a sense of determination, but at the same time balance it with warmth and humor, because he was such an engaging and inviting person. And sort of what's great is that he's a larger than life. He was a larger than life person, so your sculpture will be larger than life.
Right. It's a great collaboration. Talk about the value and the importance of an African American woman making this sculpture in a field and an industry where people don't look like you, Susan.
It's very rare. And the fact that I'm also from the same county he was born in. We grew up, well, we didn't grow up together, but the cities are like 20 miles apart. So it's very important that I was the sculptor who they chose, the Walton Foundation and the Arkansas Parks Department, to choose me to do that. So it was just ironic that it actually happened that way. And I just think it was very fitting.
Well, that's God.
That's
Absolutely.
You're right.
And that's the way it's supposed, because your end is determined before your
Yes.
beginning anyway.
Yes.
So we're talking
100%.
about November 1st in
Yes.
Arkansas.
Yes.
What can we expect real
Yes.
quick?
You know what, there will be a statue unveiling and then a conversation with me and Roy Lewis, who is one of our legendary photographers at Ebony and Jet. And then Congressman Danny Davis, who's
Right.
from Arkansas, will be there as well, and to make remarks and to accept an award. So it'll be very exciting. It'll be a fun day and a momentous day.
There's a great Chicago delegation going, including Rise Strategy Group. I'm hearing that
Yes.
several people are taking that trip. They want to be a part of history.
Yes, and
Thank
it
you.
is a trip. It's
Yeah.
a small
Yeah.
town, so it is a trip.
Well, I want to say thank you for sharing your father with us.
Absolutely.
Because he
Thank
made
you.
all of our lives better.
Yes.
Because you shared with us, your
Thank
whole
you.
family. And thank you, Susan, of course.
Thank you.
Best blessings on this incredible event that's happening. John H. Johnson Day, set for November 1st at the John H. Johnson Museum in Arkansas City, Arkansas. You can learn more about John H. Johnson's impact by heading to our website. And thank you again for joining
you.
us
Absolutely.
on this Feel Good Friday.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Mr. Johnson, for changing my life.
All right.